Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
If everything is made of energy, and energy is neither created or destroyed, then all things already exist in an energetic and vibrational state. Recognizing this truth is the secret to manifestation. When you desire something, it already belongs to you on an energetic plane. If you can experience its energy, the feeling of it, you possess it. Persist in this sensation, this potent energy, and observe as it morphs from waveform to particle, from ethereal energy to tangible matter. Feel the reality of what you want, and stay in that feeling until you see it in your reality.
Well, I am coming to understand how everything is vibrational, and I've already known that energy can neither be destroyed nor created. It's just converted. I feel that that's a little weird in my brain. Like, I really want that house, so I'm gonna take that energy and keep holding on to it, and apparently that house will become mine. Now, I understand wanting peace for yourself and wanting happiness, and manifesting happiness will definitely give you happiness. I don't know so much about tangible things.
Google says it has cracked a key challenge in quantum computing with a new chip capable of almost unfathomable speeds. The tech giant says it can perform a standard test in under 5 minutes, one that would take one of today's fastest supercomputers 10 septillion years. That's vastly longer than the universe has existed. Google says the results lend credence to theories that quantum computing taps into a multiverse of parallel universes. Dubbed Willow, the new chip has 105 so-called qubits, the building blocks of quantum machines. They are super fast, but also very error-prone, and can be upset by something as tiny as a passing subatomic particle. Now Google says it's found a way to make them more reliable, and says it can also correct errors in real time. That's a big step towards building a practical quantum computer. Google hopes such devices could one day deliver huge advances in fields like AI and medicine. In a blog post Monday, it said that, even under ideal conditions, it would take a regular computer 1 billion years to get the same results as Willow. The processors are being crafted at a new purpose-built facility in Santa Barbara, California. Rival firms have focused on building chips with more qubits, but Google says improving reliability is the key to delivering a workable system.
All right, I'm having a conspiracy brain moment. So Willow came out in December of 24, right? And now we have Bill Gates' fancy quantum chip that's like supposedly way better. What's gonna come out next? What my conspiracy brain is thinking is, it's interesting the way that this is happening. We get Willow and then we get something better, and then what's gonna come next? I feel like maybe DARPA has released a little bit of technology for them to build on, because they've got this whole big 15-minute city plan and all that stuff, smart cities and tracking everything everybody does even better. Google tracks everything anyway. So yeah, that's what's going on. Well, that's what I think is going on anyway.
If I go missing in the next few hours, know that it's because I'm sharing this picture with you and with the world. I took this picture yesterday. I was up in the mountains and I saw a craft, this orb, flying through the sky, no propulsion, going so fast, and jets were chasing it, and it crashed into the ground, and it flew up dirt all around, and it made this crater, and this is it right there. It was copperage of color. It did change colors. It changed silver, and then after a while, it changed to a red, which was pretty sweet, the red color. I actually really liked that color. But I started taking this picture, and then all of a sudden, all these Suburbans and Escalades and one H2 Hummer showed up, and I hid behind a rock, and they looked like governmenters, and they were checking it out, and they didn't see me. But then I sent this picture to a bunch of friends, and it disappeared out of our text threads. We are not alone. This was something that I don't know any government that could build an object like this, but I'm sharing this out, and if I go missing, please come to my house and take care of my creature critter pets before they starve to death.
That's an interesting story. Does anybody know if he's okay, first and foremost? And secondly, if Wednesday's episode, for some reason, never shows up, do the same for me.
Apparently, this VHS tape was found in the abandoned home of a cult leader and used for brainwashing.
you will hit the like button and you will subscribe. And if you got anything to say, let me know in the comments, because I love chatting with you guys.
All right, look at this. What's that?
Bread.
Okay. What happens to the bread?
He squishes the bread.
He squishes the bread. Okay. What should happen?
The bread should stay squished.
Should stay squished. Now watch it. 3, 2, 1. Memory foam. When did bread start fighting back? Now instead of having bread, you had a mattress. You see? Look. He squishes it again. And it just keeps popping up. This is not bread. This is plastic. It's plastic.
I don't know if it's plastic, but I know it's definitely not what bread used to be. That used to be one of my favorite things. You get like 3 slices of bread and you eat the crust off of it and then you turn it into a bread ball and it stays a bread ball. But food has definitely gotten weird these days, and they're using all kinds of processed ingredients to make it do I don't even know what. Apparently turn into a memory foam slice of bread.
This Willy Wonka conspiracy theory is so dark, it will change the way you look at Willy Wonka forever. At the start of the tour, there were 5 children and 5 adults, including Willy Wonka, but there were only 8 seats on the boat, which means Wonka planned for Augustus Gloop and his mother to be consumed by their greed. But what's even crazier is the Oompa Loompas are actually his slaves. Wonka found the Oompa Loompas in a poor and dangerous place called Loompa Land, offering them work in his factory. They live and work only in the factory, cut off from the outside world. They work non-stop for no pay, similar to forced labor. They blindly follow Wonka's orders, showing a lack of freedom, and they are also shown as a uniform group without individuality, highlighting the exploitation. Follow for more dark conspiracy theories.
I love when people take something that is as simple as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and turn it into something like Tales from the Crypt or something like that, just evil, and turns it up dark. I could totally use the dark version of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, although I don't think that was its intention. However, it was very interesting that there were only so many seats on the boat.
A Space Force craft, similar to a space shuttle, just mysteriously landed after a 434-day mission out there in space. And basically, nobody even knew it was happening until it landed. So the Space Force people are saying, hey, we can't tell you anything that happened in this mission, but we can tell you the name of the ship or spacecraft. It's an X-37B. Oh, that helps a lot, knowing the code name. Here's a picture of the thing after it landed at Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. And it does look a lot like a space shuttle. But what was it doing if it was up there, rotating around the Earth for over 400 days? And by the way, if this Space Force thing was up there that long, they couldn't have picked up these lost astronaut bastards? I'm sure they would have appreciated the ride home. Well, since nobody involved will tell what they were doing up there, it's just a guess, but maybe they were looking into some of these shenanigans. Then again, who knows? Maybe they were just up there avoiding their families for over a year. Could be. Okay, I just wanted to share this with you. Shabadoo Booshkies! Shabadoo!
Shabadoo, Joe. Thank you for bringing this information to our attention because I had no clue. But this thing was built by Boeing, the folks that are responsible for those folks stuck up there on the space station. And 434 days is absolutely fantastic, but it was a robotic space plane. So there was no people on it, but it was out there conducting some kind of braking experiment to do all kinds of weird stuff. But yeah, Space Force running classified missions. That's kind of cool.
Extreme breakthrough in quantum computing and the result of nearly 20 years of hard work. This team was able to control a subatomic particle that was only theorized until now, creating an entirely new material and a new architecture for quantum computing that's able to fit 1 million qubits onto this little chip.
This thing will have more computational power in it than all the combined computation power in the planet.
Okay, but what does this actually mean? Well, a normal computer can only process things in bits, basically ones or zeros, whereas a quantum computer uses qubits that can be both in that 1 and 0 state at the exact same time. Imagine a maze. A computer mouse has to go in each direction one at a time to find the end. But a quantum mouse can go in all directions at the same time. The more qubits you have, the more quantum mice you have that can explore these exponentially many paths at the same time, solving the maze much, much faster. To put this all in perspective, the largest quantum computer that we have right now has a little over 1,000 qubits, and to expand this, it would take up football fields of space. But this new Majorana-1 chip will be able to house 1 million qubits in the palm of your hand.
Look at us humans go. Not very long, this iteration of our civilization was banging rocks together, and now we're turning rocks into little mice that can run a maze really fast. Yeah, I don't understand computers at all, or chips, or none of that stuff. It just totally goes over my head. But look at us go, taking that freshly released DARPA tech and running with it. This could be bad.
I just obtained definitive proof that birds aren't real, and there's a top secret, so listen close. In the back of the bird, we've got a battery pack. This battery pack powers the CPU. CPU does all of the processing for the bird. But you might be saying, well, how does it get around? We've got the propulsion system in the front. This helps it fly. Then you might be saying, well, it needs to be cooled. Patented USA cooling system. Now at the front, we've got this camera. This is important. Now it sits on the power line. The power line charges the bird. And then at the top, we've got an antenna. This is able to send out signals, and we'll get to that later. So now the US uses this for surveillance. It looks in saying, what is this person doing? That right there is a no-no. And so the bird notes it and sends out a signal. Now the signal goes all the way up to the satellite, and then the satellite sends that information directly down to the president. Now, it's important that the satellite does this because people might try to corrupt this so that the government can't take action. Government gets it, they say, all right, take them out. As soon as the pigeon sends the word, boom, the US government takes care of business. Oh, it was only a gas explosion. Nothing happened here. It was the bird. Now remember, this is top secret, so make sure to tag someone who needs to know the truth. But that's my opinion. Make sure to follow for more content like this.
Well, he didn't beat around the bush any, did he? No, I don't believe that birds are not real. I do believe that there is a possibility that some of them might not be, especially with the technology that we've got available publicly. And then you think about the stuff that they got that we're not allowed to have just yet. So it wouldn't surprise me if there was even smaller creatures that were surveillance drones.
This man filed 7 patents to use everyday electronics to control the human nervous system. Henricus G. Liu's first patents appear in the early 1980s for measuring and splitting particles and dispersing fog over airports. This guy was way ahead of his time. Like this 1992 patent for electronic neural networks filed jointly with a secret US military technology development group, DARPA. Then came the human technology, using lasers and microwave radiation to manipulate the human nervous system. Some say these are kooky, overhyped science experiments. But I see complex math, detailed diagrams, and informed charts and citations, which evolved and improved over the years with multiple patent approvals. Until his last patent, claiming to be able to control the human nervous system through computer monitors and television screens remotely. Was Henricus G. Liu a secret military engineer who was filing patents on behalf of the government? An anagram for a Goldman Sachs subsidiary group based in the Cayman Islands? Or just a regular weird scientist who died at the age of 91 in 2017? The debate continues.
I'm inclined to believe that he was seeding it. Like maybe he did work for the government. He knew that eventually this stuff would come out, so he seeded that information so that when it does evolve into something more credible, he's got the patent for it. Like when DARPA finally does release this particular technology, he's like, hey, that's mine. All while believing that there is a possibility that all these screens we have around us are doing something to our brain.
NASA and the United States military sent a military, at that time, it was a top secret mission called Clementine. It was a low lunar orbiting satellite to go to the dark side of the moon. And when I saw the name Clementine, I knew right away, this thing ain't coming back. And as I began to dig deeper into the declassified documents, of course, it never came back. And sure enough, it hit something on the dark side of the moon, which is really just the backside. It's not really dark there, but it hit something, but it sent back about 20 gigs of data. And these images are available to the general public. They've been declassified, and there are strange anomalies on those this image. This is pre-Photoshop, pre-everything. Things that shouldn't be there that look like broken structures and junk and things that just seem to be laying around. So I think it was a reconnaissance mission to gather intel and data, which is probably why China's gone to that far side of the moon. It's a race to see who can capture ancient technology and then reverse engineer it and then weaponize it.
This was 30 years ago. I don't know if it was top secret, but these images definitely are available. I've seen a handful of them, but there are 1.6 million images. It was a 71-day thing where they took digital images and topographical images as well. Topographical, it's one of those, but they did it. And that's a lot of images. I definitely think that there's something interesting going on the dark side of the moon. What? I don't know yet, obviously, but I don't know if it's going to be in the images that are released to the public. And who's going to go through 1.6 million images? I'm sure someone has.
The creepiest conspiracy theory of all time. Have you ever felt like there's more to the world than meets the eye? Imagine this, a shadowy force pulling strings behind the curtain, manipulating history, and hiding unsettling secrets. This isn't just a wild theory, it's a tangled web of eerie clues and chilling possibilities. What about ancient civilizations disappearing without a trace? Or government files that mysteriously go missing, leaving only whispers of cover-ups behind? Some say these aren't coincidences, but deliberate attempts to conceal a horrifying truth, a truth we're not ready to face. From strange symbols cropping up in unexpected places to powerful elites seemingly untouchable, every detail deepens the mystery. Could this conspiracy be right under our noses, hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone brave enough to uncover it? They say the truth is stranger than fiction, but how far are you willing to go to uncover it?
I do get that feeling from time to time, and it's not just like the government orchestrating whatever it is the government is orchestrating at its particular time. It's a little bit bigger than that, and it's weird. It's definitely an eerie feeling. Let me know, do you ever get that feeling?
Throughout the years, there have been so many theories about our so-called elites and higher-ups performing ritualistic practices for their own personal gain. The movie I'm about to talk about basically shows us how they do that. So we might as well call this The Truth Hidden in Movies Part 8. The movie that I'm going to be talking about today is a movie by the name of Eyes Wide Shut. Widely known that the scene behind me was not supposed to be a part of the movie whatsoever. Director Stanley Kubrick was told to cut the scene out a couple days before his death, because they said it was too sensitive for the executives. Instead, he refused and the movie was released with the scene anyway. Theory goes that the movie was meant to expose everything that the elites had going on behind the scenes. Though the movie was still released with this infamous scene, there was still 25 minutes of this scene cut out, which for all we know could have did a lot more damage than it already did. You look at the photo behind me, this is what I mean when I say they put it in our face. They have Doja Cat, Sam Smith. These gold masks are very common as well. Seen them in the popular Netflix show Squid Game. These billionaires betted on the contestants' lives like it was a game. These masks also played a major role in real life at the Rothschild Surveillance Ball of 1972. I don't think I have to go into detail about the Rothschild.
So, I have a bit of homework to do because I have never seen Eyes Wide Shut. I know. It's like one of the biggest exposing movies of the time, but I haven't seen it. So I'm gonna have to check that out and see what it's all about. But for now, let's check out part 9 of our story.
Apparently, this symbiotic society, it's old, man. It's not thousands of years. It's not million years. This thing's like 8 or 9 billion years old.
Really?
It's the oldest things there is in the universe. It was, it's the first of the species of the universe, not just the galaxy, the entire universe.
Wow.
And home to them is the space between the galaxies.
Really?
Kind of like a whale living deep in the ocean. That's where these things reside, I guess. And they're a mixture of kind of like, now that we know it, kind of like the Borg. They're a mixture of birth and construct all together, all at once.
Did you get a sense that they were a positive people, not like a warlike evil race?
No. But apparently I can't, just images, impressions, but this thing must have been in a knockdown, drag-out battle of some kind. And it got wounded, and that's the best word for it. It got wounded in a conflict, and so it's looking for a place to land, repair itself or heal up. I don't know what it's done. Where are we as a planet in our galaxy? Where are we? We're right out on the very edge.
Yeah.
It flew into our galaxy. First planet it came on, M-class planet, probably been us. So it slides in, and they may have found this thing. We wouldn't have been capable of shooting something like that down properly. Nah.
Right.
No, they dug it up. Maybe that's why they built Area 51 where it's at. Because they hit a treasure trove, which means the spacecraft is somewhere, and it's big. So that, if you're going to follow that matrix, that means the crew's somewhere around.
Do you think that a reactor like this would have enough energy density to power an entire city like Los Angeles?
Oh, not just city, it could power an entire planet.
Really?
Carriers come in, like one of our naval carriers went to Beirut, and they ran their reactors into Beirut and ran the whole power supply of Beirut till they got the infrastructure up. The place had been bombed to death. This thing could land on a planet. This power plant can be extracted easily. It's only got 4 disconnects and lifts right out. So you can drop it off and power an entire planet with it.
Wow.
So it's just, I don't know how much power the thing's got. It's, imagine not just a yellow star like ours, the medium star, and you pour 1 million Earths inside the thing so big. I think this thing's got the power of a giant blue. It's just unlimited. And I could imagine what weaponry of something like that, but the thing never seemed to have a need for weaponry, maybe defense. But anyway, I crawled out of this thing, and I had a different attitude. That was the excellent question you asked me, was I scared? I never was scared of this device or anything in Area 51. I was more scared of Arthur Rudolph than anything. So I got out, but I am so angry when I come crawling out of that thing. I guess because I've seen so much, and what hit me is that nobody knows about this. Nobody has a right to keep this kind of knowledge away from you.
Okay, so I was thinking this whole time that we shot it down, me and some other folks, because I do that. But I was thinking that our people shot this thing down, and they're like, they've got it down here, but they dug to it somehow. That is interesting. That is actually super cool that it lives in between the galaxies. What ticked me off a little bit was it feels like they were trying to exploit this thing, and it's alive for all intents and purposes. I mean, it's sentient. They're talking about what made me feel like they were talking about exploiting it for its energy value. And I understand, okay, let the people know we have this thing, but why? God, I hope that's not something that they go into about how to, utilize its power, because that would make me sad. Because it's just this poor thing that lives out in space. And it got shot. On that note, I'm calling it for today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Please come on back in a couple of days. Make sure I'm here on Wednesday, okay? Just in case. Yeah. Come on back in a couple of days. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day. Clue. 434 days that thing was up there. Obviously that's over a year. So Willow came out in December of last year, and now we've got Bill Gates' chip thing going on, whatever the heck he called it. Look at us humans go. Not very long. Our generation. Our species, not our species. Our civilization. Look at us Look at us humans go. Not very long, this iteration of civilization was banging rocks together, and now look at us. We're doing mice and maze things with rocks now.